Hi everyone, my name is Elaina and I work at the Flute World Charlotte location. Today I have a great privilege of sitting down with Jennifer Dior of the Charlotte Flute Association. Jennifer, you're the professor at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte location. You're a local flute choir conductor. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you came to Charlotte?
Sure. So I'm from New York, Long Island, actually Smithtown. And so I grew up and started flute in the 4th grade, I guess 9 or 10. And then I started lessons about the year after, private lessons with my teacher who was our general music teacher in elementary school, who was also a flutist, so that was lucky for me. She was wonderful. And then I took with her. She actually subsequently went on to just teach lessons after a few years in the public schools. So then I took with her all the way through about 11th grade, and then she sent me to Harold Bennett, whose country home, back when, that was such a thing, was on Long Island. So he was 30 minutes from me, so I studied with Harold Bennett for about a year leading into college, and then another year, and then I switched to Andy Lolia, who played with the New York City Ballet Orchestra. He was principal there, so he was great. And so I graduated in Manhattan, and then I was taking auditions during school and then also after, but then I won a job in the Greensboro Symphony, 3rd flute piccolo. So that's kind of what brought me into the area. Even though it was only part-time, it was good because at least I was, I'm like, I gotta get out of New York. There's so many people. It's a great place, but there's so much competition. So I did that and did other part-time work. But then by the following year, I was playing in Roanoke. I was 2nd flute there, and then I started subbing a lot here in Charlotte. And so that's kind of like my husband and I got married, and we thought, well, where would be a good place to establish ourselves? And Charlotte was bigger, so it just made more sense. And he plays drums and percussion. So at this point now, we started teaching a lot, and we both teach at UNC Charlotte, and he freelances a lot. He's percussion and drum set, and and we both play with the symphony as extras and subs, whatever you call it. So it's been a good journey. We just decided to stay here.
Can you tell us a bit about the various teaching that you do? You've taught at the university level and also privately.
I feel like I've learned a lot over the years about teaching. First, I remember when I was a young teacher, I wanted to teach these kids everything, like all at once, which obviously didn't work. And then I finally learned, one step at a time. And then after a long time teaching, you get to the point where it's a little bit of psychology. Like sometimes I ask them, I try to remember to ask the older kids especially, like, what do you want to achieve? What do you think is your strengths, your weaknesses? Because I remember being asked that by some of my teachers. And so it helps, they sort of self-diagnose. They say, well, I need help with technique. I think my sound's pretty good or whatever. And then we kind of go from there. And little kids, sometimes it's just get them interested in music, get them to love music. And then with older kids, it's like, oh, they're really having trouble with sound or playing in tune or just keeping up in band. Sometimes there's just like, they're behind, and their band teacher will say, well, take some lessons. So a lot of students cycle in and out of lessons. They don't all stay all the time. And, I just sort of try to take them where they are and get them to where their goals are, or, whatever that happens to be.
Can you tell us a bit about the Charlotte Flute Association and what you hope with this group?
Sure. So the Charlotte Flute Association was formed in about 2009 and 10, and the NFA came here in 2011, and then it sort of stayed dormant after that until about 2019, when I saw that the Charlotte Flute Choir was looking for a conductor, and I thought, well, I could do that. And then I thought about, what about uniting the professional and amateur flute communities just in fellowship and in love of the flute and in everything and anything related to flute. So I thought I could sort of like combine those two ideas. So I did. In 2019, I started conducting them, and it's been really fun, actually, to work with adult amateurs. I just love it, and they're very sweet. And then as far as the Charlotte Flute Association, so like I said, I met with a friend, Amy Whitehead, who kept the nonprofit going. And she said, oh, that's a great idea. You do it. Here's all the info. And so then I said, okay, let's plan some stuff. So we want it to be educational as well. We hope to have, say, scholarship opportunities, competitions, maybe a summer camp, and performances. So the first thing we did in November of 2019 is an all-district clinic. So that was super fun. That was at Southern Park Music School, and they're wonderfully supportive, offering their facility for free. And then we had 2 April 2020 events, which obviously did not happen. So then we lay dormant for a while, and now I'm trying to get it back. So we have this event coming up in April, and hopefully a members recital in the fall. And yeah, we're just taking it slow and building it gradually. It's been really good.
So Jennifer, since the reorganization of the Charlotte Flute Association, you have been able to host various community events such as solo and ensemble concerts and all-district clinics. Where else do you see opportunity for meaningful experiences in the Charlotte Flute community?
So I'd love to see a big educational component with, like you said, more all-district clinics, maybe competitions for maybe college scholarships for music majors in the state, and camps, maybe summer camps, chamber music camp or flute choir camp or flute camp. That'd be fun. I know Atlanta has a flute camp, so I'd like to see us go in the more educational direction, and you know, more concerts, events, maybe guest artists. That would be good.
And speaking of events, one event that is coming up with the Charlotte Flute Association is at the end of April, specifically April 30th at 2:30 p.m. Can you tell us more about this spring Flute Fling and
Sure.
what it will entail?
Yes, absolutely. So it's at Matthews United Methodist Church at 2:30 on a Sunday, April 30th, like you said. And yeah, it's going to be fun. There will be several flute choirs playing. The Charlotte Flute Choir will play. I'll be conducting them. And then the Youth Orchestras of Charlotte, we call it YOC Flute Choir, conducted by Erin Frechette. And she's wonderful. She's a colleague. And then the Matthews Flute Choir, who is hosting us, will be performing as well, and it'll be nice. And there might be one other group, and then a trio of myself and Amy Whitehead and Erin Frechette. So that should be a fun day. And then we'll have fellowship afterwards, some snacks and things of that sort. So it should be good. Yeah, come, it's free.
Yay! Well, we appreciate you so much for coming in, Jennifer. Thank you so much for your time and for all that you do for the Charlotte Flute community.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.